Hello and welcome to the Kilowatt Half Hour, a podcast about the world of EVs brought to you by the team at electrifying.com. So on the show this week, we're going to be talking about what I think is the only story in town, the internet's brutal reaction to Ferrari's first EV. We're going to be talking long-term test cars. And of course, we'll be discussing your comments, your questions and your moans as always. We love a good moan. Joining me today, we've got Vicki and we've got Mike. Hello, you two.
Hello. How are you?
This is nice. We haven't done a podcast together as three for ages, have we?
No, we haven't.
That's very nice.
It's lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you. Shall we talk about this Ferrari story? Because it literally, I think our collective jaws dropped, didn't they, when this hit? So what I love about this is, for such a long time, the most controversial rebrand and car launch of years has been Jaguar's Type 00. And Ferrari saw that and they just went, hold my beer. And then they came out with the Luce. Or hold my glass of Chianti or Campari or whatever it was. It has been an extraordinary reaction. Mike, as our resident Italian expert and linguist, in case people have been living under a rock for the past sort of 4 days, just talk to us about the Luce. What do we know about it?
Okay, it's Ferrari's first all-electric car built from the ground up as an electric. It's a 5-door car, and they have put the design out, not to their usual people, which is usually Pininfarina or it's styled in-house. It's been put to an agency, Love From, which is run by a chap called Johnny Ive, who very famously an Apple designer, and Mark Newson, who is also an industrial designer. He's done bits and pieces of cars, but he's not bespokely. Neither of them are car designers. So, it's a very controversial look. It's a complete departure from anything Ferrari has done before. We saw the interior a few weeks ago, and that was kind of tame by comparison, isn't it, really? So the exterior was revealed on Tuesday, and it's broken the internet because I think it's safe to say it's been a fairly negative response to it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I loved about this was that they presented it to Pope Leo. And part of me was like, do you think they're seeking forgiveness for what they're about to unleash on the world, from the higher powers? Because it has been brutal, hasn't it? Vicky, what do you make of it? Well, are people being unkind? Is it, is it Ferrari's best EV? No, they're not being unkind, are they? It's a funny looking thing.
It is a very I think it's a very un-Ferrari looking thing. I think that's what's really taken people back. I think a lot of people are asking the question about why it has to be a 5-seat SUV for their first EV. Why wouldn't Ferrari set the benchmark for what an electric performance car can really do, sort of thing? Why not go for a sort of more classic Ferrari layout and body shape and this kind of thing? And so I think people are a little bit, but I mean, what I would say, and this may be an unpopular opinion, I don't actually mind the way it looks. In fact, I quite like the way it looks. I just don't think it looks like a Ferrari. I think this is my issue. I think that's where the problem is.
I completely agree. And I actually don't think the problem is that it's an EV. Because I've spent a lot of time looking at the comments this week on, the stuff that we've put up about it and, just comments generally. And I think that the feeling is there doesn't seem to be the backlash that Ferrari, who of course are known for, the soul and the sound, have gone EV. It's just people just go, not that EV. It just doesn't look great. Yeah. One of the best comments I read on it was, not even the Chinese will copy this one. If Ferrari's goal was to make a car that no one would copy, success, which did make me laugh so much. But I don't like the way it looks particularly, but I completely agree with you. My bigger issue is that it does not deserve that lovely prancing horse on the side of the car. It just looks weird. Doesn't look like it should be there.
No. Well, there have been some sort of amusing responses, haven't they? I did particularly like did you see the Toblerone one that was going around? That really made me laugh. So there have been some good ones. And can I just say, while we're talking about this, there is an article on the site at the moment that our very own Sam Burnett wrote about alternatives to the Ferrari Luce. And I think my favourite is that you could have 38 Dacia Springs, which equates to over 5,000 miles of range. And so you could literally line them up and just throw them out when you've run out of charge and just move on to the next one.
Because this is the extraordinary thing with it, right? So there's some quite impressive performance figures on it, but the range is really average. It's got a
Yeah.
mass. Is it 122? I'm just trying to get this stuff. 122 kilowatt hour battery. Does that sound about right? Can either of you remember? I think 122 kilowatt hour battery, but the range is about what 300 and something
220,
miles,
isn't it?
320 miles. And I was just a bit like, so you're also not going to make it technically like really wow either, because that's very average, isn't it, compared to what we're seeing at the moment. Yeah, 122 hour gross NMC battery, 320 miles of range. And yes, it can do 0 to 62 in 2.5 seconds, but so can a Volvo these days, you know. But it can, can't it? It can.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's maybe in a slightly different way. I don't know. I think Ferrari have got a lot to prove with
Yeah.
this car. I'm a bit less cynical about it than some. I think Ferrari, like a lot of brands, are having to really rethink how they approach stuff. I think they're having to rethink what they do for the electric era. I think it's a big challenge for them. And like I said, I actually really quite like the way it looks. I just don't think if it didn't have the Ferrari badges on it, I would never say that's a Ferrari. I quite like it apart from that. But
Mike,
yeah,
you're nodding. Do our in-house design guru?
I was a bit shocked to see it for the first time, but I'm kind of Team Vicki on this one. I kind of like it, and I think, you know, it's the whole thing. You didn't like beer the first time you tasted it, and
oh, I did. I bloody loved it.
yeah, I woke up this morning looking at it again. I thought, yeah, I mean, there's bits that are slightly unresolved. The rear end is very strange, with that kind of cowl over the. It's like someone's built a car over a car, doesn't it, at the back? But I think it might be one of those cars you need to see in the metal, because I think the cut out at the front is really dramatic. I mean, there's that shot of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton unveiling it, and they kind of put their hand up the front bit, then it comes out of the bonnet, so that all that is kind of like negative space. Yeah. So maybe it's something that works better in the metal. You know, that blue was an odd colour to launch it in, but.
The problem is, it's exactly the same launch colour that Nissan used for the Leaf.
Yeah, that is.
So the internet is full of pictures of the Leaf and the Luce. Yeah. And you know, it's very, you'd have thought somebody would have done their due diligence on that, because it's quite a niche colour. It's actually the colour of your cushions, Vicki, right at the back there. Those cushions.
Yeah, well, I styled my sofa on the Ferrari Luce. This is a Ferrari sofa behind me. Yeah, absolutely. But I will say one more thing. Can I just say? This is my forecast. I think they'll sell quite a lot of them. I think that they will, because it's really controversial, and I don't know that they'll sell them to the traditional Ferrari buyers. I bet you anything they'll sell a lot of them to you know, the Middle East, to China, this kind of thing. So maybe it's the new Cayenne, maybe it's the car that everybody doesn't want the brand to make, but that everybody will actually, with the money, will buy. So you know what I mean? I think we might be in that sort of territory with it. I don't know.
It's interesting. You know, I agree with both of you. I think it is one of those cars that you need to see in the metal. And I've been doing this long enough to know that you can see cars that look great in a photograph, and you go and see them and, you know, you're really disappointed, and vice versa. So I think, you know, I will be very interested to see it. I think it's going to be in the UK at Goodwood Festival of Speed, I think, isn't it, Vicki? So so I think there will be chances for people to have a look at it. But I thought the other interesting thing was the reaction from the market, the financial markets, which, you know, the internet might be very loud, but the financial markets were probably more worrying for Ferrari, because the shares fell 8% on the Milan Stock Exchange following the reveal. I haven't checked as to whether they've bounced back. I think they'd come back slightly, but it's obviously this move into electrification is massive. But I think on a different note, I think for me, what it really signified is that, listen, if Ferrari is now having a Halo EV as part of our future, then we've just moved in. The EV, it's here, isn't it? This is happening. It really is. You know, there's no, you know, people have just got to get on board with it now, for sure. Anyway, should we talk about some cars that we could actually perhaps afford to buy? Because at £475,000, I don't think any of us are going to have concerns about whether we should treat ourselves to it or not, are we? Unless just something you two aren't telling me.
Well,
no.
Give us a pay rise, we might consider it. You know?
Okay, all right.
And Batch isn't on the podcast, so he can't answer. I want to have a couple.
I want to see a Batch match with those trousers, with the turquoise trousers and the Ferrari Luce. Should we challenge Batch to find a pair? That would be great.
You know that he's already lining that up, don't you? He's already been shopping. I bet he has.
Have you? He's actually weirdly. I'm recording it. He's in the corner. Are you shopping for a pair of trousers to match the Luce? I'm speaking to my tailor. He's talking to his tailor as he speaks. He's having some samples flown over from Milan, fabric samples. Right. Anyway, so what we all been driving, Vicki? You've had a nightmare week with cars, haven't you? Should we start with you? I mean, literally, my heart went out to you this week. I was very glad it wasn't you.
So I got a flat tyre on our very lovely Skoda Elroq long-termer, which I have been really enjoying. And thankfully, the flat tyre happened about half a mile from my house, so I managed to sort of limp it home and get it on the driveway. But I mean, I'm talking a proper flat, and it turned out that it actually had a split in the tyre. So I don't know how or what's happened there. So it wasn't even repairable, and it took nearly a week to get the tyre fixed. It's just one of those things. It's life, isn't it? And I didn't have any other cars around, so I've actually largely this week been driving a long wheelbase diesel Transit. Smells very strongly of white spirits and paint stripper. So which is my husband's daily, and thankfully he hasn't really needed it. So that's been a bit of a departure. Isn't it like? I mean, I do drive. I've got an old petrol Mercedes and things, but blimey, you get into a diesel these days, and it feels like you've gone back about 30 years in time. It's such a kind of departure from an EV. It's just unbelievable. And I like a Transit, but yeah. So that's what I've been driving.
Well, it's really funny. So I'm building a house, and my builder Gareth was like ripped me like just terribly for being an EV advocate when he first met me. It was awful. Would argue about them all the time. Lo and behold, he's in a plug-in hybrid now. Yeah. Lo and behold, he's just said to me, I quite fancy trying the electric Transit. I think that'd be really quite nice. So it's like, okay, so I think even the most cynical amongst us, which Gareth definitely is, are slowly coming round to the idea that getting in a diesel now. I definitely very rarely drive them, but when I do, it's a bit like, oh my goodness me, how did I live with one of these?
Well, on that note, so we've got the new pickups, haven't we? We've got the electric Hilux, and we've got the electric Isuzu D-Max. I think they're still calling. I find that weird calling it an electric D-Max, but anyway. So they've got the pickups, haven't they? Which are quite interesting. So I reckon we should get those in and have a look at those.
Yeah, definitely.
That might be. It'd be. I wonder how well they're going to do, because I mean the Hilux as well. That's a real kind of legend, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see how that goes down as an EV.
Yeah, we've got a video coming soon on that one. Mike, what about you? What have you been driving around in other than your bike? I know you've been out on your motorbike this week.
Yeah, I'm on a motorbike, so you can throw rotten veg at me now. It's a petrol motorbike, although I would definitely want to get. I've made a few calls to sort out some electric motorbikes while the summer. I mean, that'll be the guarantee the end of summer, won't it?
Of course it will.
If I get that. So I'm not using the buzz as much because I've got a recall on it. I've got to take it in. And the early well, no, it's nothing to worry about. It's just a fire risk. It says, and we advise that should the vehicle fire occur, stop immediately, park in the open, and end your travel. I mean, that's disappointing, isn't it? I thought if it,
it didn't say
it's on fire, and it says it's important you should leave the vehicle as well. So there you go. So without that, I wouldn't have known. I'd have sat in it on fire
and waited. I would have
this is nice and warm. Yeah, I'd drive it to the barn, which is largely, a large timber structure. I would have just parked there. So I'm glad I got that letter. But obviously, the earliest I could get it in was about 8 weeks' time. So it's
okay.
So I'm doing fewer miles in that, and while the weather's nice, I've been on 2 wheels. But, yeah.
And you had to go in the Alpine this week, didn't you? Well, we think we've both driven it for the first time this week, the A290.
I did, and I loved it. I liked it, but I think I'm getting a bit old because it was quite firm, isn't it? And
I like how firm it is.
Yeah, and maybe because I just spent 3 hours on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to do was get in something that was going to, shake my feelings out again. But I do like it. It's a cup holder short of being perfect, isn't it?
Oh God, this is what I was going to say. So, I absolutely love this car. I love the Renault 5. So my long-term Renault 5 video has gone up and is getting a lot of views. And I'm slightly heartbroken that Yoda left me. We had a little fling and Yoda's gone, and that was very difficult because I really did love the Renault 5, for a year. It's just a cracking car. And so I was interested to spend a few days in the Alpine A290 because I've never driven it. And a bit like you, I just thought I'm going to really like the way it looks and it's a cool thing. And then I'm going to find it, I'm too old for it. I don't enjoy it, but I absolutely bloody love it. Honestly, I would buy one in an absolute heartbeat, apart from one reason. And this would stop me. There's nowhere to put my cup. There's no cup holder. Like, what were they thinking? Like, what they think that just because you want to have fun and, and have a kind of sporty, fun little, hot hatch, that you don't also want to have a cup of tea in the car? Like, what? Is it like that's classed as a demographic that doesn't take a drink with them? It literally would stop me. I found myself Googling. I've been trying to find a cup holder that I can put on to the dashboard so I can put it in, because at the minute I'm traveling with it between my legs, and I've had some nasty burning accidents with tea slipping over. It's not the place you want to be burnt either, I've got to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nicola's here as well now, and she's laughing.
Oh, no, she'll elaborate on this.
Oh, Nicola's like, yeah, she relates. She doesn't want to be burnt there either, do you, Nick? Here she comes, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes.
I walked in at a point where Ginny said, between my legs and burning, and I didn't understand what you were talking about. Happy podcasting.
We're going to phone HR again. Oh, God, Nicola. Anyway, so Nick and I...
drag us back out the gutter. Yeah, I think, there's space for it. Why isn't... Yeah, it seems nonsense. Not even to offer it as a blooming clip-on something or other.
Yeah. So here's a question for you all. Which car have you driven, or which car do you know about? We'll chuck this out to the internet, to the audience. Which car have you had that was missing something vital? Like, it could have been, like the wing mirror that you broke off your car and still drove around with it without it for like 3 years when you were 18. So what car have you had that you think has just been missing something vital? Because for me, the Alpine A290 is literally my spirit car. Honestly, I love it that much, but it's got to get a cup holder.
Yeah, yes, I think it lives in the same folder as the rear wiper on the original Ioniq 5, doesn't it? In so much as no amount of PR, nonsense to make up for the fact that it's the wind will clear the rear screen. Don't worry. No, it was filthy within 5 minutes. So,
I'm with you though. I do love the Alpine, but maybe I'm getting old, and we have discussed that before as well. But I'd just buy a Renault 5, not only because of the cup holders, which is a big swaying decision for me as a big coffee fan, but I just think that the Renault 5 drives, nearly as well as the Alpine, and is usefully cheaper and looks kind of just as cool, and I sort of prefer the ride on it. And there's aspects of that. I just think that I'm going to have just as much joy from a Renault 5, and I can do it with my grande latte at the same time.
I'm completely with you. I would never have one.
I do love the Alpine.
So so we've got some great videos up at the moment, haven't we? So we've got the Renault 5 long-term test, and we've also this week we've all been spending some time in the GLC and the BMW iX3. So we've managed to get the first twin test of those two rivals live. So it is an interesting day. Again, I think seeing those two together, I think what we sort of thought, all of us, was that in any year the GLC would blow you away because it's such a good car. Sadly for the GLC, it's the year that we get the BMW iX3, and then the Volvo EX60 is coming as well. So you almost feel a little bit sorry for it, because if it had been last year, we'd have been absolutely raving about it. And it is a very good car, but it's just the game is the bar's being raised so much higher, isn't it? What did you think of them, Mike? Because we were all here when we were filming this earlier in the week in the sweltering heat.
Yeah. Exactly the same as you. I thought the GLC was brilliant. I only drove it for about 10 minutes up and down the sort of roads near the barn, but fabulous. I mean, it was interesting. The car we had was on air suspension, which I'd be interested to know how many people actually specify that, because it's quite a dynamic change. It does feel a little bit sort of wallowy, maybe because I jumped straight out of the Alpine and into that. But on a long journey, I could live with that ride.
I drove the standard GLC on its standard passive dampers back at when I was on the launch a week or so ago, and that was actually really, really good. So I think, I mean, it does feel a tiny bit firm at times, but I still think it's really good. So I genuinely think it would probably be better without the air suspension, although I didn't mind the sort of wallowiness as much as you and Nick did. I quite like a really sort of soft, cushy car as well. but the standard suspension, I know, well, you really like sort of quite a firmer ride comfort. I think we've established, haven't we? But yeah, I thought the standard GLC, and that was also just the base sport trim. It didn't have any options apart from silver paint on it that I drove. So, which makes it a whole lot better value than the test car that we had, which was really high spec. And when I drove that, I was like, actually, does feel like quite a lot of car for the money. But it's the range difference between the iX3 and the GLC, isn't it? And that's the thing now. Like you say, such a good car, the Merc. I really, really like it. But I do think that disparity, it's like nearly 100 miles more range in the iX3. I think a lot of people are going to struggle to choose the GLC over that. But hey, there you go.
Yeah, so those videos are out there. I think that the interesting thing on the rumour mill this week for me has been the news that BYD is potentially putting a bid together to enter F1 with ex-Red Bull boss Christian Horner at the helm. He was apparently seen on a super yacht in the south of France with Stella Lee, BYD's vice president, as you do, because that's where, as we know, all Formula One deals happen in the south of France on super yachts. And part of me was like, yeah, I can see that. And then also I was kind of a little surprised that maybe Formula E wasn't where they were going. But I guess given all the electrification now in F1, I don't know. Do you reckon that's going to be a goer, Mike?
Well, it's interesting. I think what you were saying about Formula E and Formula E has quite a large reader viewership, but it pales into comparison with Formula One, which is a massive sport. So that's the one you want to be in. It's a strange one, especially as this year was when they went 50-50 with electrification and internal combustion power in the cars, and it's proved a bit unpopular. So they're going to wind it back to 60-40 in favour of the internal combustion for next year. So you'd think, what have BYD got to gain in that? I'm presuming they've got very deep pockets, but they definitely want the exposure. If you remember the Euros, the football tournament, 3 years ago, they they acquired the sponsorship for that under the nose of Volkswagen, and it was the tournament was in Germany, and yet the main sponsor was BYD everywhere, wasn't it? So they clearly understand the value of having the name out there. Maybe it's just building the brand rather than thinking we're going to flog some seals on the back of it. But it's interesting.
I think though, I don't know if but from what we know of BYD and how they operate, I just think they'll probably do it because they're such a force of nature, aren't they? That company.
Yeah, they move really quickly. They've got a lot of money. And I think actually the last few years, they've still been doing well by sales numbers and things, but they've seen a bit of a sort of plateau in the Chinese market. And I wonder if this is one of the things they're planning on doing, because they're really focusing on global sales now, aren't they? So I think this is what they're trying to do to really, I think Mike's right. I think it's a huge marketing move and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. So and Formula One is the place to be if you want to really get the brand out there, isn't it? So
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Right, so bringing us back to Earth with a Bump, have we got a bargain of the week?
We certainly have. So we've got, I found a lease on an MG Motors MG-S6 Trophy. So you're talking about a 329-mile range car there. It's it's comfy SUV. It's good. I like the MG-S6. It's really good. So, a £2,500 deposit, which is 9 months down. £262 per month.
Wow, that's a lot.
Good,
That's a lot for the money, isn't it? That really nice.
Good car, isn't it? That's 8,000 miles per year as well. So I think that would do a lot of people for a really decent price on a really decent family electric SUV. Pretty long range. So I thought that was a good deal. Or how about a used 2025 Polestar 4 long range single motor? So you're talking 385 mile range premium car there. £31,000, and it's only got 17,000 miles on it as well.
I'd have it in a heartbeat.
Thought that was quite long. Yeah,
I'd have that in a heartbeat. I know that we've disagreed vastly across the Electrifying team on the ride quality of the Polestar 4. Again, I just I quite like it. I'm not. Me. I like. Yep. But I think that's a cracking car. So Ben, one of our financial man, Electrifying, who pays all our wages, who is a fantastic guy, and we all really love him, don't we?
You're a great guy, Ben.
Ben's
absolutely love him.
He's
Thanks for
guy.
paying us each month, Ben. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. You're great, Ben, and the expenses are due soon, Ben. So if you just send them over,
I think we get paid today, don't we? So so we need to say thanks,
Ben. Ben has one. He loves it. Two of my friends, on various recommendations from me, have got them. Absolutely love it. So I know Nicola's had, perhaps an interesting relationship with her Polestar 4 when she had one. She loved a lot of it, but some of the tech stuff drove her mad. But honestly, the two friends that I know who've bought one, no issues at all, and really think it's fantastic. That's a good price for that car, isn't it?
I've seen loads around me too. I've seen a lot of them. So I think it's quite a popular thing, isn't it? I think it's a lot of car for the money, so it's a good one.
Good. Okay, should we do a welcome to our electric virgin of the week?
Yes.
So this is from Brad, who wrote in to say, "Dear Electrifying team, I wrote into the podcast a few weeks ago to ask if you had any news about one pedal driving and regen paddles coming to the Renault 5. Within a couple of weeks, you had an answer. You ran the story on your site and you mentioned it on the podcast. I have now placed my order for my R5 Roland-Garros in black, and I take delivery in a couple of months. Thanks for your help, Brad." That is brilliant. I massively approve of that choice, don't you?
Yep.
Roland-Garros in black, that's really nice as well.
That's a really nice spec. Yeah.
Really cool.
And if you would like to be our electric virgin of the week, do drop us an email, podcast@electrifying.com, or you can drop a comment wherever it is that you're listening or watching. We've got a load of comments to get through. So I just want to say, which is my favourite comment that I read this week, and it must be my favourite comment of the year so far. So on the Renault 5 long term, which, as I said, is live now, and it's fair to say that, we love that car, and it's got its faults, but it was generally a really positive experience. Mr. Stovey's 2444 on YouTube just simply wrote, "Ginny gets a divorce from the ENIAC," and a laugh emoji. And I couldn't stop laughing at that. If you don't get this, it's because the ENIAC has long been my default car. For anyone that wants to go electric, buy an ENIAC. So apparently I'm now divorced from the ENIAC. But I think I'm sure we'll get back together at some point, because, it's been a long-standing, very fond relationship. So, we're bound to rekindle at some point. Right. What else have we got? Have we got any questions?
Right, so we've got somebody's written in at BBSSCJ. So they wrote in and said, "I have a question for everyone. I have been driving an EV since 2019 and am a bit of an early adopter. If I needed a charge away from home, I would only charge up to 80% to let others use the charger if needed," which I think probably all of us do, "and charging gets much slower anyway. Is it me, or do you think EV drivers are now less considerate and staying at chargers longer than needed?"
Ooh, that's a really interesting question. Or are there just a lot more on the roads?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because there are also more chargers now.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were all driving EVs back in 2019 as well, and it was at times a bit tricky to charge, and it could be quite a sort of stressful thing. But now, I mean, I don't plan public charging. I just pull into services and plug in generally, unless it's a really, really long trip through Europe or something along those lines. I don't tend to really plan anything.
It's original. I think there probably was, Mike. Do you remember around the time that we were launching Electrifying, we talked about having a clock, a timer thing that you could put in the car that would show people how long you plan to be there. And I think there almost was in those earlier days, there was a bit of a kind of an etiquette, wasn't there?
There was.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was more of a club back then, wasn't it? We were the sort of early adopters club, and I think you'd often strike up a conversation with somebody at a charger, wouldn't you? And you would help each other if someone's app didn't work or the car didn't work. You would end up, helping them out. And I think it's now just people are just it's just a car, isn't it? No more than you would strike up a conversation at a petrol pump.
I do think that, it is the etiquette, isn't it? And I think that has always been a little bit of a difficult one, because where EV chargers tend to end up in the busy motorway services, it's often quite difficult to see if they are full, which I have to say these days I find very rare. I have to wait, but you're never quite sure if there are cars waiting or not, and if they're parked, and there are aspects of that. I don't think I'm generally seeing people charging for longer necessarily. I wonder if it is just, maybe it is just particularly at peak times, maybe it's just the amount of use that they're getting, but I'm not sure about that one.
I'll tell you what, I don't see as much icing. Do you remember when we used to talk a lot about being iced? So this would be ICE cars parking in EV charging bays. I don't think I see that much anymore. So this is going to cue a huge influx of comments from all of you who it happens to you all the time and it drives you all mad. But I don't think I have seen that for a long time. And in the early days, that would be something that you would just regularly see. So, yes.
Yeah. I think I see more EV owners not plugged in an EV bay. these days. Sometimes
Yeah.
people say, well, if it says, and it's taking things to the literal level, isn't it? If you see something written on the tarmac that says EVs only, people just park there and then don't realise that it's a charging
Yeah.
bay. Well, they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
realise, but just think, I can park here. So, yeah, that's even more annoying.
Yes, it is. Right, Mike, have you got a comment for us?
Yes, this is from BST1623 from YouTube. It says, keen to know your thoughts on a high-spec Skoda Epiq for approximately 32 grand versus something like a Leapmotor B10 at 30 grand as well. Given the Chinese cars are as good in terms of quality now, are they? Would you agree with that? Why would someone choose the Skoda? Vicki, you've spent a bit of time with a Skoda Epiq, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I think that was one of the, because when I sort of spent some time with the Epic, it did cross my mind to actually a high spec one of those, because it really is surprisingly spacious inside. You could definitely use it it's a very usable family car for a sort of small family. I think in truth, it's going to come down to, I suspect the Epic's going to drive. It's going to be better to drive than the Leapmotor. I think there is an aspect of brand image. Some people prefer having a smaller car. The B10 is quite a bit bigger, and that's not always useful for everybody. If you've got, difficult driveway or park, all that kind of thing, sometimes a smaller car is good, especially when it's still useful, like the Epic. So I think there are lots of reasons you would still go for the Epic over the Leapmotor, but I can also see, because that B10, it does feel, it's pretty nice inside. You get all the kit; it's really good value. So I think it just comes down to personal taste, to how much you value how the car drives and your brand image and all of that, really.
Okay, yeah, no, I would agree. I think we did a survey amongst visitors to the website, and I can't remember the stat, but I think it was something you might be able to remember, 75% of people said they just didn't really care where their car was made anymore. So those days where you would literally you would want to buy a car because it came from Germany or because it was built in Britain, that's definitely been disappearing. And that as long as it does the job and it's what they want and their preference, and it's been well reviewed by a source they trust. So I do think we're seeing quite a lot of change in that. But again, like Vicki said, it's just up to what you particularly like, isn't it? And what matters to you.
Yeah.
There's an interesting looking at the pricing on an Epiq, and this sort of slightly relates to this question. They're priced it so the two prices are identical. There's one with a small battery with a really high trim, and then there's the big battery with the basic trim, and they're exactly the same price, like to the penny. So I'd be because I'm a nerd. I'm interesting to know what people will go for, because they think, oh God, I need a longer range. I can put up with the fact that it hasn't got, adaptive cruise control or whatever. So I'm not entirely familiar on the specs, but will they have less kit and longer range, or do they just want all the luxuries, all the buttons, but a slightly smaller battery? But interesting to see what the order take will be on that.
Yeah, I thought that same thing actually.
And I think I'm going to drop this comment in here now, as we are now at 30 odd minutes in, so we're definitely now hitting the half hour. And I'm going to read out a comment from, I think it's Wagner Gimenez, because we've pronounced Wagner Gimenez's name wrong many times. Like we used to call him Wagner Gemens, and I'm pretty sure, correct us please again if it is incorrect. But he just says, thanks guys, I'm going to put my first vote for renaming the podcast the Kilowatt Hour. I'm cool with that. Because so we shall carry on. I don't know if we're going to get to the hour, but let's carry on with that. Vic, have you got a comment for us?
We have, yes. So at Henry Andrews 2011 said, if someone suggested the car as a new form of transport now, so this is off the back of that quote that you got, Jen, when you're out in Volvo, it would be refused on environmental as well as safety grounds. He says, imagine let's drive around alone in 2-ton transport pods that require lots of mining.
Yeah, this is off the back of that comment from the Mercedes safety people, wasn't it? About the cars wouldn't be allowed now. And interestingly, about 5 years ago, when Grant Shapps was the transport minister, I interviewed him for a programme that I was making, and I asked him that very question. I said to him, if somebody came to government now and we had this idea for the car and everything it was going to do, would it, would you sign off on it? And he went, oh my God, no, the car would never, ever, ever be allowed now today. Just wouldn't. So it comes back to that comment, that the Volvo guy said, which is, would you say today a form of transport that kills 30,000 Europeans a year? It's really interesting, isn't it? But no, I get that. And Mike, anything from you to wrap this bit up?
Jason Thorne, which is a really normal name. I want sort of 4 digits and a couple of letters after that. But at Jason Thorne, which I'm glad to, because it's a nice, easy one to read. I'm one of the few people who owns an automatic license. I did so as I'll only ever drive EVs.
Yes.
I have a beautiful little X-Demo Volkswagen E-Up in King's Red Metallic. I love that my first car is an EV, and I haven't the slightest regret skipping manuals. Yeah, I don't think I'd be happy never to drive a manual gearbox again. I realise I'm probably the only one who says that, but
no, I would be happy never to drive a manual
Vicki
gearbox
will
again.
disagree.
Vicky will disagree. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because my son disagrees. So Zach, my son, is turning 17 at the end of August. He's quite cheesed off because he's the youngest in the year. So he's had a year of all his friends, having the driving lessons and, got their licenses, and he's like finally getting around to the point, and he wants to learn to drive a manual. I was like, why? But he's doing it. He's doing it. So I just wonder if there's that bit more of that whole analog thing that might start coming back in with the kids. I don't know. But yeah, he's going for the manual. But yeah. Good luck with that, Zach. Good luck with that. That's all I've got to say on that. We had loads of comments in actually about the Citroën 2CV, which you were talking about on the podcast last week. And yeah, it got quite a big reaction. I like this one from below. I can't below. Anyway, it's a YouTube comment from somebody lovely, I'm sure. I love the 2CV too. Much that I fear Stellantis will mess it up big time. Not unlike how VW messed up the ID Buzz. I wanted to get your reaction to this one, Mike, as a retro premium vehicle instead of a van, comparing rather poorly, in their opinion, to the Kia PV5. I thought that was quite a controversial statement. I wondered how, Mike, you would feel about that.
The Buzz is a Buzz, isn't it? I mean, people said to me, you must be annoyed because the PV5's come out now. No, I don't want a van with windows. I'm quite happy with my Buzz because I bought it because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
It's a completely different car. I mean, on paper, yes, they're comparable, and the PV5 has better specs, but yeah, I bought it because I like the way it looked. Like, it smiles at me, and I wouldn't get that from a PV5. I admire it for what it does, but I admire it the same way as I admire an Airbus. It gets you from A to B. But
I thought that was harsh because I think the Buzz is a thing of beauty. I don't think they've messed the Buzz up at all. Vic,
no.
I love it. I think the Buzz is great. All I want to know is why they still haven't launched a proper camper van version of it. But apart from that, I love it.
It was coming in 2025, then 2026, and now they're not even talking about it anymore.
I know. I thought that. I've not heard anything about it for a long time, so I don't know what's going on there. But apart from that, I love the Buzz. I would buy a used Buzz. I think they're great. So really cool.
I've got some interview time with Thomas Schaefer, the boss of VW Group.
Well, ask him where it is.
I'm going to ask him where the Buzz is, and I'll report back. Okay. Vicky, not everybody agrees with Batch on the subject of the TC. No, go on. You might need to do some background for this in case people didn't listen last week.
So Batch was saying that he didn't really sort of think that the 2CV was a good idea. He didn't seem to really be in favour of that. And so we've got a comment here from Atre Uidaho.
Good stab there, Vicky. Yes, nailed it, Vic.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's spot on. I do apologise for definitely mispronouncing that. Anyway, so YouTube comment, he says, so Batch, Renault, Mini, Fiat, VW can go retro, but Citroën can't. Very strange. And the AMI is getting close to 100,000 units now. I'd point out, I actually defended the AMI and said that it did sell well in Europe. Yeah. Many cars would love to reach that figure. So yeah. I think it was just that Batch didn't really like the looks of the sort of the proposed 2CV. It's a sketch, isn't it, really? So I don't know that the new 2CV will actually look like that image that we've all seen kind of going about. I think that might be a bit misleading, but we'll find out, won't we? Like I said, I'm all in favour of it. I think it'll be great. I'm just a bit unclear about quite how or where it's fitting into the Citroën range, but I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm sure it will all be. It'll all be revealed. Mike, what you got for us?
Finally, on this subject, Richard Blaney, 5898, not to be confused with Richard Blaney 5896 or 7. They said they definitely need to do a retro pastiche 2CV. If you market a car with a name like 2CV, there's nothing else you can do. That's what people would want to buy. Look at the Buzz. Oh, here we go. It's a pathetic attempt at the retro-looking camper concept. It's just an awful car that people don't want.
Oh,
I've gone off you, Richard Blaney, suddenly.
I don't know
What's that,
what's with the
where's
buzz
that come from?
hating.
Where's that come from?
Can we get some comments, like, just to kind of spread the love for the buzz? Because I love the buzz.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyway,
It's just going to be all comments from Mike next week on the bottom of this
Okay.
podcast. I really like the buzz. I like all indifferent. He's going to.
You're literally like me. Mike's
So
compiling it next week. Oh, you're on holiday next week. We'll save them for when you come back, Mike.
Well, I think the trick with the 2CV is you've got to get Frank Stephenson, the designer, to do it, because if you look, he revived the Mini, he revived the Fiat 500, and why not give him the full clean sweep? He's probably not that busy.
I interviewed Frank Stephenson in the 90s when he was working at Maserati, and he said to me, the rear of a car, it needs to look like the derriere of a beautiful woman.
Oh, no.
Which is possibly the most designery thing a designer has ever said to me.
It's like Swiss Tony from the Fast Show.
Swiss Tony from the Fast Show.
I mean, he's a nice bloke, Frank, but I was like, okay, right then. Okay, didn't know what to say to that. There we go.
Look at the back of a Mini again in the same light.
No.
I know. But on the subject of hating on cars, it's not just been the buzz and also the Ferrari Luce. The AMG, that Mercedes AMG, has given the Luce a run for its money in the comments, isn't it? Blimey heck, people are a bit. Yeah, I didn't realise that would be so controversial.
No, it's very strange, isn't it? We had one comment at Stevie Cad says, I'm absolutely with Batch on that Mercedes. It's not holding back here. It is disgustingly tasteless inside and out. I mean, tell us what you think, Stevie. Mercedes styling choices in general have got me wondering about their appeal. It's definitely not a restrained look. We're all different, I suppose. Well, he tries to soften it at the end there by saying,
which just means done, Stevie, disgustingly tasteless. I think no, there's no coming back from that.
No, goodness.
Should I do Fingelbat, who is a regular? Fingelbat's a regular. Fingelbat, on the subject of the AMG, said, I feel like I need to do a ranty voice for this. They used to be driven by world leaders, or rather they were driven around in them. Mercedes-Benz was a name synonymous with class, innovation, classic quality, with timeless looks. Now I find a Benz is often overly glitzy, like having a glitter ball in a public lavatory. It adds no benefit to form or function. They pando to the nouveau riche who black class like online influencers, not proper online motoring journalists, before I upset the Electrifying team. I hope they get back to their heritage one day and bring out a true belter steeped in their timeless look and quality, whilst being innovative and forward-looking. BMW, I think, are beating Benz at their own game. Again, Fingelbat, I love you. Just say it like it is. Don't hold back.
Hard to know what side of the argument he's on there, isn't it?
Yeah. I think he just doesn't like it. You're being sarcastic. Sorry, that completely slipped me back.
No, firstly, I've worked with quite a few influencers, and they're often mostly very nice. So I don't really think that we're knocking people who do that. I think I agree to an extent on the AMG GT 4-door coupe, whatever catchy name they're giving it. I think it's a shame the concept car, the GT XX looked lovely. It was really simple. And it sort of drew its inspiration from the C111 concept car of 1970. It just looked nice, and I think the final production version, that link had gone. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me.
I'm just looking at that again in that lovely orange colour.
Look beautiful, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful. They've done that awful, hideous online dating thing, haven't they, Mercedes? That thing, they've catfished us all. Like they've gone with this is what it's going to be, and then you turn up and see the real thing, and it's just
from the jaws of victory again.
Yes, okay, I agree. Anyway, well, I feel like we've had a full-on vent on this podcast. We've been quite negative about quite a lot of stuff, and sometimes that's just what you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, Mike, you're going to be sunning yourself and from your sunbed next week, aren't you?
I think that's called annual leave. I think it's...
Is it not called swanning off? No, it's annual leave. Okay. Thank you. Thanks to Ben. Thanks, Ben, for signing off on that. Thanks, Ben. Thanks. So, Vic, you and I will be driving. We'll be coming back to tell everybody what we've been driving and doing next week. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us. Let us know your comments. Send us your questions. Podcast@electrifying.com, or you can always drop a comment in the comments on YouTube if you are watching. Until then, any final thoughts to leave everybody with, Mike, Vicky?
Not really. No, have fun.
All right, good. Okay. Enjoy your pina coladas, Mike, and have a good week, everyone.
Will do.
Have a good week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.